Well, hello once again. Today, we're going to start restoring this old Perfection kerosene cook stove. This is a little bit early model. There's fuel tank and the chimneys and all that. Everything's here. Just needs taking apart, clean that surface rust all off. We'll give her a new paint job. So we'll start just a quick disassembly of the parts that'll just come right off. So fuel tank just lifts right out of there. We'll put that down there below the stove for now. The burner grates, we're just going to lift them off. And we'll set them down below the stove. Now we'll take these chimneys out. Well, they're going to need the mica glass replaced in them. Somebody put screen in here, which is not proper. See, this one's got mica in it, but it's in pretty bad shape. And luckily, I have a Amish family I deal with who sells parts for these. You can get basically everything you need. As long as the stove, the shell and stuff itself is good, they pretty much got every other thing you need. So there's the chimneys removed. Now these are flame spreaders. Give them a twist, they come up out. Now we were very fortunate on this stove because I have had these stick in the past, these wicks. But first we'll take these collars off. They just lift straight up and off. I'd already checked on these wicks when I got this thing home a couple weeks ago, but they'll just pull straight up out. That metal, that's the wick carrier. They're getting in pretty rough shape, especially. Oh, that one seems to have gotten a little tight again. Give it a little twist back and forth. And slowly but surely, they come out. Now that one's burnt clear down to the wick carrier, so that's definitely no good. And the same thing here. Give her a little twist. And that is one of the easiest ones I've ever had to take wicks out of. They'll get stuck and then you got a real problem on your hands. Okay. That's everything you can just pull off of here easily. I think the next thing I'm going to do, because this one leg does need some repairs. It's this one over here, the screw. Somebody wobbled out the hole a little bit. Well, I think next thing I'm going to do is move all these parts out of the way. I'm going to flip it over and we'll take the legs off of it so I can start cleaning them up to get them painted. And then more than likely I'll take this top off. Now to give me access to everything. I'm going to avoid taking these burners off. Down in here is a little lead washer. And I don't have any lead washers. I can get them from the Amish. But I don't want to deal with that. So I'm going to try and do the rest of it without taking that out. Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't know if that shows up real good, but this is nice embossed end here. We're going to paint that a different color than the black. But basically there she is taken apart. Well, laid her down on her back. I'll start working and getting these legs off. There's 3 screws in each one. So I'm going to get those off of here. And then I'm going to remove the top. Well, that took a little bit of doing. But we got the legs off. You see people got different screws and nuts and stuff in there. I think we can do better than that. Trip to the hardware store, we'll get the right stuff. And we're gonna have to straighten this up a little bit here. But overall, she ain't too bad. Now I'm gonna put a little penetrating oil on the bolts that hold the top on. Let them soak so I can get the top off of this thing. And then we can start getting like the legs cleaned up, the top all cleaned up, start prepping some of this for paint, and then we'll work on that main body. Now I got the top taken off. Take out like 7 screws and that top lifted off. And one thing I figured out, and I think I got it figured out here, is that I can take these sides off without having to take the fuel rail apart. So I'll be able to leave the burners right on that fuel rail and get this thing broke down into all its components. And start sanding and wire brushing and all the good stuff to get her apart the rest of the way. And paint it up and put back together. I flipped it back over now and put a little bit of penetrating stuff on all the last of the nuts and the bolts here on the bottom. And once I take those out, that'll release the sides, the support bracket, and the fuel rail and burners out of there. So one thing I would suggest, if you think you're not going to know how to put something back together, like when you're doing something like this, take a lot of photos of it. And then you can refer to them as how to put this back together. We'll get her straightened up here. Get the rest way apart, straighten the metal, get to cleaning. Well, moved outside so I could paint. Got the first coat of black on the main body. Covered the burners up. Gotta run to the hardware store and get another can of black to finish everything up. Should soon be putting this thing back together. Well, I'm about to start to reassemble this thing. These screws, I salvaged them out of an old metal shelf that I took apart for scrap, so I didn't have to buy any screws. That's a good thing. We'll start getting this thing back together. This piece fits across the back here, and then you put your top back on, then the legs will have to go on. And I didn't paint these burners because they're actually brass, so I just left them the way they were. Well, I reinstalled the top, and this back piece is back in here. It kind of snaps into the sides to kind of hold everything all together. But we're making some progress now. Now I'll put something on the workbench to protect that blue paint and flip this thing upside down and get the legs back on. There's the legs back on it. Got the fuel tank sitting back on it. There's the top with the burner grates. Now the rings and the flame spreaders and the chimneys, and those parts are all outside. I painted them, they're drying. I'm not going to bother to polish these burners up. I just don't think it's worth the effort on something like this, but you never know. But one thing I am going to not do is I'm not going to put any wicks in this, because this will just be like a display stove. And these wicks tend to bind up once they're in there, and it sets for a long period of time without oil. So we're going to leave the wicks out of it. Now, next clip I'll bring you, I'll have the stove all done. There she is. Just about completely done. I gotta go through and touch a couple little spots of paint up here and there. And the other thing I gotta do, see, I got the mica glass in this one, but these, I gotta go up in my storage room and dig out some more mica glass, because that's where I got all my parts to these. There's your fuel gauge on the tank. Got a little dust on it sitting down here. But that's basically it. I think it should come out pretty nice. I got another one sitting out here I got to redo. But I enjoy these stoves. Hey, we'll see you in the next video. Don't let anyone steal your joy, and enjoy what you're doing. I really enjoy fixing these old stoves up.